Let's all go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies. Let's all go to the movies and have ourselves some fun. Let's go.
Willie Waffle joining us talking movies here as we do every Friday morning leading into the weekend. Good morning, Willie.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Well, thank you, and you too. I'm so excited because we're just mere days away from the greatest television event in the history of television.
Yay!
The
Yeah,
People versus O.J. Simpson.
it should be exciting. I know. I mean, it captivated the country when it was actually happening. So,
Oh my God! If you didn't live through it, you just have no idea, man. I mean, we were watching the TV every single day, horrified and shocked by every revelation. I remember when they were going to announce the verdict, everybody who had a job was someplace having lunch where there was a TV, and entire restaurants, entire bars were full of people waiting to see what would happen, and the reactions were like the Super Bowl.
right. Just insane. It should be interesting to see if that level of interest is peaked once again with the show that's going to look at it all.
Hey, how could it be peaked if you have the power of David Schwimmer playing for you?
Oh, I know, right? He looks so weird. I didn't like him as Ross. I'm really not going to be liking him now.
Oh, don't worry, Gene. You got Mr. Gooding Jr. as well as
John Travolta is
John
Robert
Travolta.
Shapiro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. And I don't like the lady either. She's an American Horror Story. I can't stand her. I can't think of her name.
Oh, I love her as an actress. She's wonderful. Sarah Paulson.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson.
Gene's apparently not a fan.
I don't like her in American Horror Story. I liked her in the first season, but I don't like her in the... But she always plays these kind of offbeat characters. Maybe that's why.
Okay.
All right, Willie,
Willie,
we've
thank you
got
for
got a full docket of movies to talk about this weekend. Let's start off with Kung Fu Panda 3.
And why not? Because he's so lovable and cuddly, and don't you just want to take him home?
Yeah.
And that's what makes the movie work, and that's what makes the whole Kung Fu Panda franchise work, And now, Jack Black is still our favorite Kung Fu master, and he's found a secret land of pandas. He's finally among his own pandas. But there's an evil Kung Fu master who's chasing after him, who must destroy him to take over the world.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and no matter how serious it gets, no matter how scary it gets, I think they do a wonderful job in these movies of kind of lightening the mood, letting Jack Black be silly, be goofy, have some slapstick in here to make the kids laugh when it might become too much for them to handle. And Black just fills the character with just that infectious joy. No matter how stupid he is, you just kind of like the big lovable lug. So I'm going to say 3 waffles out of 4 for Kung Fu Panda 3.
Yay!
All right, sounds good. Now another we have one movie that's kind of a continuation of a franchise. We move to a movie that's a parody of another one that's trying to get off the ground.
That's right. This was 50 Shades of Black.
Yes.
And yeah, it's still better than 50 Shades of Grey.
Wow! Yeah, that movie was awful. And I didn't even read the book.
Awful. But follow along with me. 50 Shades of Black is a parody of 50 Shades of Grey, which was an unintentional parody of good movies. So that means 50 Shades of Black could win an Oscar.
Right?
All right.
No, not really. I saw the movie. It's not going to happen. Too often, I feel like the Marlon Wayans, he does these movies over and over again. Scary Movie and the Haunted House and things like that. And I feel like he believes the definition of parody means every character has to act outrageous and offensive and idiotic. Like they have to be as obscene as possible. They have to all pretend as if they're going to be someone appearing on an episode of the Jerry Springer Show. And that's what hurts the movie. I mean, yeah, you get a stray giggle, a stray laugh here or there, but the best parts of this movie are when they really focus in on just how awful 50 Shades of Grey was, how stupid it was, how ridiculous it was, how just implausible it all was. Those are the funny jokes. The rest of it is just kind of throwing up anything you can and hoping that somebody will laugh. So I'm going to say 1 waffle for 50 Shades of Black.
Oof. All right. Moving onward now to something a little bit more original as far as movies go. We have The Finest Hour.
Well, original in the sense that it's a story you haven't seen, but it is based on a true story. And it's set in 1952, and it's about this oil tanker that's off the coast of Cape Cod in the worst blizzard ever, and it splits in two.
Oof.
Yeah, and now the Coast Guard has to go and try to rescue the survivors, and we don't know if the survivors will survive. We don't know if the Coast Guard can make it out there alive. This is a dangerous, dangerous situation. And the movie really, I think they're being very ambitious. They're trying to tell like 3 stories at once, and 2 of them are very compelling. And you've got kind of the story of what's going on the boat, led by Casey Affleck, playing the ostracized kind of chief engineer of the boat. Nobody really likes him, but it turns out he's the most brilliant guy that they have. He's the only guy that can save them. They got to start listening to him. And you see kind of that developing. Then you've got the other story of the Coast Guard. Chris Pine as the leader of this group who's haunted by his past, who wants to overcome this horrible tragedy to prove that he can do the right thing. And even though everyone tells him, you don't really have to go out there, he knows it's his duty. And that's what's so charming about that character. That's what you like about that character. It's very cliche filled. It's extremely predictable. But I think it's such a feel-good movie and a movie where you just root for the good guys. That's what makes it worth seeing. I'd say 2.5 waffles for the finest hours.
All right. Sounds like a decent deal. Now, what do we have going on DVD this week, Willie?
Well, you get yourself a little Bradley Cooper.
Oh.
Yeah, and this is a movie that came out last fall that, in the theaters, maybe not so awesome. On DVD, quite passable. And it's called Burnt. And, he's this chef who used to be a big deal, and he kind of bottomed out and screwed up his life, and now he's trying to get back in the game, and he searches out all of his old friends, and he finally gets a chance to take over a restaurant in London, and he's on his way to greatness again. But we have to wonder, will all the things that took him down take him down again? And yeah, there's lots of familiar stories here. I'm sorry, if you've never seen Gordon Ramsay on TV, that's basically who Bradley Cooper's trying to play. So there's no big surprise at the yelling, cursing, screaming, chef. There's no surprise at the chef who's riding around his motorcycle and wearing his leather jacket all the time. I mean, we get it. They've already created a little persona for them. But I think what you'll like is just kind of the twists and turns, especially the twist that I thought should have been the greatest ending to a movie that I have seen in years, but then they just kept going. And that, I think, hurt the film. But I would go 2.5 waffles. I think, Bradley Cooper is a really good, solid actor. I think he makes this movie a little bit better than maybe it is.
All right. What are we talking about when we visit next Friday, Willie?
Next week, how about Hail Caesar, starring George Clooney?
Right.
Looks like a fun. I mean, not only does it look like it's set classically, but it also looks like it's kind of going to be a fun classic style film.
Yeah, it really is kind of, they're setting up to be almost like a 30s or 40s farce kind of a movie.
Right.
With that style of acting, which I think would be very good if it's done right.
I guess we'll have to wait and see until next week to find out.
Yep.
Well, that's the name of the game. You need them to come back.
That's right. So next Friday, we'll do it again, Willie. Thank you much. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.